The next topic under module 3 is effects of solid waste. So we have already studied the classification, sources and characteristics of solid waste. Now, before moving into the effects of solid waste, let's see the reasons of excess generation of solid waste. So why there is an excess generation of solid waste in our country? So I have listed four important points. Let's have a look into that. So the first main cause for the rapid growth in the quantity of solid waste is overpopulation. So you know that the ever increasing population is increasing all types of pollution like air pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, and it is very true for in the case of solid waste pollution also. The second one is urbanization. So, solid waste is primarily a problem related to the urban places, or solid waste pollution increases with the increase in urbanization. As you can see in the case of developed countries, for example, in USA, urban areas they produce about 7 lakh tons of solid waste each day. So, this value, that is this amount of 7 lakh tons, is sufficient to cover more than 1.6 square kilometer of land every day. It is to a depth of about 3 meters. So you can understand how it is increasing in the developed countries. The third one is affluence. So the term affluence is the state of having a great deal of money, or we say wealth or prosperity. So, what happens with the production or per capita consumption? There is a tendency to declare items as obsolete or useless, and it results in their discard. So, people usually discard items or things in order to bring new ones. So, this actually leads to solid waste pollution. And the final cause is technology. Definitely, in the case of packaging, you can see the rapid growth in technologies for most economic goods are leading to returnable packaging. Or else you can use this word, the reusable packaging. So, returnable packaging and reusable packaging, they both are cost effective and you can say environmentally friendly packaging. So nowadays, for most of the economic goods, the industries are using non-returnable packaging. That is not environmentally friendly packaging. For example, returnable glass bottles or containers, they are replaced by non-returnable plastic containers, cans, etc. So this is one of the example under technology. Now let's go to the effects of solid waste. First, let's see how the solid waste production affects the human health. So, the first point is they may create unsanitary conditions. So, we know if solid wastes are not collected and allowed to accumulate, they may create unsanitary conditions. For example, the effects of solid waste lead to increase in disease causing organisms such as mosquitoes or flies, and they in fact cause diseases to human beings like malaria, dengue, etc. So all these organisms are disease causing. Okay. Now the third point is food and water contamination through flies. Diseases like bacillary dysentery, diarrhea, then amoebic dysentery, all these results in humans from food and water contamination through flies. These type of organisms are actually breeding on the waste materials which are dumped in the dump yard and also the solid waste. Even rats, so depending upon these solid waste, rats can also cause plague. Then the crops and water supply may also get contaminated and may result in large scale epidemic of cholera, jaundice, hepatitis, etc. So the fourth point is this may lead to epidemic outbreaks. So many diseases like cholera, diarrhea, dysentery, plague, jaundice, or even gastrointestinal diseases, all these may spread and cause loss of human lives. Then radioactive substances. present in solid waste causes a number of diseases in human beings. The exposure to large amounts of radioactivity can cause nausea, vomiting, hair loss, diarrhea. Even it can damage the central nervous system and also leads to death. Then another causes DNA damage and also a risk of cancer can also seen in the case of radioactivity. Then the last point is improper handling of the solid waste. Various health hazards can be seen in workers who come in direct contact with these solid wastes. Now, moving on to the environmental impacts. So, if the solid wastes are not treated properly, it can cause decomposition and putrefaction, that is, decay. As you know, the organic solid waste during decomposition may generate obnoxious odor or intolerable odor. That is an effect on the environment. Then burning of solid waste leads to air pollution. That is non-biodegradable solid waste such as polythene, plastic. They all release toxic gases when burned, and hence they carry the air pollutants. Even noxious odors can pollute the air due to decomposition of organic solid wastes. And as I said earlier, noxious fumes may pollute air due to the burning of waste products, especially plastic containers. All these are effects of solid waste on environment. Then the generation of solid waste can reduce the aesthetic value of land, and also the percolation of decomposed garbage dumps into soil may result into pollution of underground water and land. So the solid waste dumping can even pollute the underground water. So it is indirectly affecting the human health too. Then next is the social effects. One thing we usually see in people is that they always develop sentiments on solid wastes or the generation of more solid wastes. People generally they don't want their neighborhoods to be filled with solid wastes, and also the people who are living near the waste dump site may have a tendency to move away from that place or evacuate from the place to another place. And people generally, we have this belief that a city with a hazardous waste facility is perceived as an undesirable place to live. So these are some of the effects of solid waste. Even though we are not going into the details of waste management practices, you should keep this point in mind, the three R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle. So this is the practice to be followed for the proper waste management.